Sherry Smart.
Hi, my name is Joe Paciorek. I'm here with Jerry and Sharper Image, and we're going to do you some ideas today. I'm going to show you some of the no-holes barred ideas on hair and photo shooting and things that we do not in the day-to-day salon stuff. So you're probably going to have a lot of questions. I'm going to show you how to make things. I'm going to show you how to move things around. I'm going to go over some basics right now. I see this constantly. In the salon, people bring in this one thing that drives everybody crazy, and it is called Pinterest. What we learn to do in my salon is to do your own Pinterest and actually keep it on your phone. My phone shoots are very small, but this is like some idea that we would do and keep it in the salon. So people would say, you know, I like this, I want that, I have an idea for that. It's all part of it. It's just you're growing your business on everything. And what happens in today's world is when they have a prom or they have a dance or something like that, they all come in wanting the exact same style. And I get it, we all like it, it's fun to do, but you also have to learn to do other things other than that one-up do that's on Pinterest that month, that's hot. So I'm going to go over some ideas for you. The first thing I'm going to go over, which absolutely drives me crazy, is there is a difference between a braid done on top and a braid done on the bottom. I'm going to show you the two differences really quick here. So when you're doing a braid that comes on top, when you go to spread that braid, it's completely different. I'm going to show you a top braid, then I'm going to show you a bottom braid. They call them under braids or over braids. Top braids are going over the top. Top braids are going over the top. So what you're doing is you're constantly moving the braid like this, over the top. So when you go to spread this top braid, what you're actually going to do is you're going to create the braid that you really want to see is going to be not on the top, but on the bottom, because this is the look you're going to want. So what I'm going to do is instead of braiding it on the top, I'm going to show you how to braid it on the bottom. Watch my hands, because my hands tell the story. It's really easy to get lost in these because you're not used to doing it. But what you have to learn to do is you take your 3 strands just like you did for a top braid. Get a little shine on here. This is my mannequin. She's been with me for 35 years. She started out with hair to the floor. She's been through a lot, so we try to take as good a care of her as we can.
What's her name?
This is, I think her name is Adele. You know, men, we're not good at names.
Sweetheart.
Sweetheart, sunshine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 3 strands like this. And instead of going over like this, I'm going to go under. Okay, now you have these 3 strands. Now you're going to add your sections. Watch my hands. It's the easiest part of this whole braid. Now we'll take this section and add it to this section. Most people want to do this very quickly. That's up to you. Myself, I like to take my time so I know that the hair looks very clean and very polished when I add it to my sections. Sometimes I'll just take my brush. Sometimes I'll just take my brush and give it a little brush. So now what you're going to do, because you now have your 3 sections again, you're going to go underneath and underneath. So do you see what you're creating? The top side of that braid is now under here. This is just helping you or giving you an idea for a look. So by getting this, doing this the proper way, it gives you a big edge on other people, because when they go to do this and they do a top braid and you do an under braid, it has a totally different look and a feel and a style to it. This is, I see this more on Pinterest every day than I ever saw before. Keep your sections clean, keep them moving. Now there you go, you got your braid creating. Now you're going to start adding to this side again. Okay, add it to that side, go under, go under, go under, go under. Are you enjoying this? It's pretty easy stuff. I think the hardest thing, like most things in life, is to just practice it. I go in my basement sometimes and I'll see something on Pinterest, and we all do, and I'll practice it. And then it reminds me of being in college, because my math professor always told me the only thing people need to do to be good mathematicians is practice doing math problems. And I'll never forget the day that math problem that I practiced the night before showed up on a test. And this is kind of like what we do with hair. If you do enough of it and practice it, play with it, mess with it, redo it, constantly building it, you will become a master at that. So that's one of the things I see nowadays, especially in my salon and all salons. People have a tendency to think they've mastered it all, but they have not. So don't be a secondhand Joe, be a firsthand you. If I teach you something, run with it in a different direction. One of the things I've always said on stage and anywhere I'm talking is a good artist borrows, and a great artist steals. So to take an idea of somebody's, now you gotta watch this really close, because when you're gonna put the rubber band on this, what you're gonna do is you're not gonna put the rubber band so tight. You're gonna leave it a little loose, so it's not so tight, and you're gonna spread your bottom section first. See how my bottom section spreads like that? And you're gonna go through and you're gonna, now I got my three pieces spread. Now I'm gonna go right up a braid, and I'm gonna create that looseness to it. And I'm gonna create it again. And again. And again. Sometimes I'll take just a very little bit of spray and just very spray down, always spraying the direction of the hair. Just barely spray down. And you can open that braid one more time. You already got it, so you can open it again. There's all 3 strands they spread. Open it a little more, open it a little more. I've seen people who take their flat iron and flatten this out. You could do that, and if that's what you want to do, if that's what you want to create, it's kind of difficult for me to do that right now, because I'm going to redo this mannequin. So what I'm going to do is I'll actually show you. Now that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is, just to finish this off, you can do another braid on this side. That's up to you. But what I like to do with this, to give it a real messy bun, always be kind to the hair, because there's going to become a day that you wish you were kind to it. So I'm going to take this hair now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it counterclockwise. And as I'm turning it counterclockwise, you're going to see I'm going to start pinning it. I'm going to pin it. Wait. There it goes. It's starting to flip. Turn it again. You can feel the tension. Feel the tension. Flip it again. Turn it one more time. Feel the tension. Now this is a great example of what I talked about before with leaving a rubber band on too tight. I'm going to take a rubber band. I'm going to put a rubber band on here, but I'm going to put this rubber band on here very loose. Okay. As I spin this around like this, I'll wrap this around twice. And I'm going to put my pin in there. And one of the things I found out about bobby pins is that most people want to put a bobby pin in. They don't want to keep it closed. They want to open it up. And that's okay if you're doing big hair. But when you're doing this kind of stuff, you want to keep that pin closed and just barely put it in there. Now, I know right now it feels like it's going to drop. So I'm going to let it fall just a little and start pulling it apart. See, as you're dissecting it, you're creating a messier ease. There you go. Pull it apart, pull it apart. You can start pinning it, or you can start pulling it some more. Probably what I'm going to do is pull it a little more. You can see as you pull this, it's creating a very messier look and very editorial looking, actually. So what I would do to finish this up, I would just take this braid, wrap it around twice, pin it underneath, and then finish pinning the rest of the braids. So you guys like that? It's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's nice.
You put your bobby pin in like that. Now it's locked. You can pull it apart some more if you want. Of course, I would never leave it completed like this. I put some twists to it and little things like that, but I just wanted to make sure you get the idea of that under braid. So what you've created here is actually this. Very messy bun with a wide braid.
Nicole says it looks great.
I'm going to take it apart. Now that's one idea. Remember that. Underneath braid, not on top, underneath. Take this down a little bit. And move to the next section. Okay, what I'm going to do, I showed you pulling it apart. And now I'm going to show you another idea. These ideas, by the way, are all going to be part of the ideas I'm going to be showing you to do these other updos. So what I'm basically doing is priming you for something else. This braid comes apart very, very, very easily. It's not a big deal. Usually when I'm taking my mannequin apart, I use what they call a shine spray. And I use that shine spray just as easy as I can, so I have minimal damage on her. This mannequin's about 35 years old, and I just don't want to beat her up as bad as I used to. There you go. She comes apart pretty easy. And by today's standards, what I'm seeing on updos, it's going back more traditional, believe it or not. So I'm seeing things that I never saw before. Well, I've seen before. I just never thought I'd be doing them again. Okay. What I'm going to show you next is a thing called a loop. When you're going to do loops nowadays, I have quite a few things going on, so I'm going to show you how to do this loop. When you're going to do a loop, what you're going to do is you're going to take two sections, and there's two different ways I'm going to show you how to do them, because these are for finishing. Okay. You're going to take the two sections. You're going to take this section, wrap it around this section, and create a loop. You're going to take this section. Now, if you want it to go the opposite way, you take the top section and go over. Okay. Creates another loop. Then you take that section and go over again, and that creates another loop. Okay. Now them are really beautiful, especially if you're pinning hair back, formal wear, things like that. But that's one way of doing it. But now there's another way, which we call fencing, which is also a loop. And you take this side and you continuously do it this way. And now you're making, instead of loops all over, you're just making a fencing looking loop. So that same loop that you had before is now, instead of going this way and then this way and then this way, it follows a line. You're creating a movement. So that's going to be loops. I'm going to show you how to do, in a few minutes, I'm going to show you how to do a giant chignon, and this is going to be an important part of it. You're going to see me do it. I just wanted to show it to you in the beginning. As you move through this, you're going to see other things. One of the things I've learned from the girls that I work with in the salon is they get that baby bump now in the hair that always freaked me out before. I did a lot of back combing and things like that. What I learned from the girls in the salon was basically all it is it's a matter of sectioning. When you section hair and you have that triangle like this, you're gonna watch. I'm gonna push this hair like this, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I get it all using a rubber band again. Using my rubber band, I'm gonna use my rubber band like this. You see how I smooth it out with my hands. Maybe put just a tiny bit of spray on it. Tiny bit of spray. I really look chubby. Is it okay if I just suck in on this? It's terrible. I thought, what's that chubby guy doing here? Wow.
You look like you watch me.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. That camera must be really telling the truth, because it's telling me you better go on a diet. Oh, it's crazy. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this like this. And watch this. This is a great idea. I actually learned this from somebody who actually didn't do hair. Okay, come on. I know you're in there. There you go. I learned this from somebody who didn't do hair. What she did was she basically just took a rubber band, put it around the hair like this. Now watch this close, because this is so easy, it's silly. She wrapped it twice. Now you would think, what are you going to do with that now? And all she did was push this forward like this. And she created this beautiful, beautiful bump. Now you see what you've created? You see this on Pinterest all the time. All you do is push that forward, blend it in. Gonna blend it very gently. Use hairspray. Now, if you need to, you can spread it a little bit like this. That would be the beginning of your updo, because you would create this. See how nice that looks? Okay, so now so far we went through. First thing we did was the braids. Second thing we did was the loops. Now I showed you how to make a bump with a rubber band. We're going pretty good here. Ah, that's another thing I forgot to teach you. There's another way of doing that also. I've watched people do this too.
Somebody said such a good trick, saves time and product.
Yeah. Now watch what I'm going to do with this. This was something I learned from an amazing hairdresser, and he didn't use it for for modern ideas. He actually used it for old ideas. But when I saw it come about, I was like, wow, that's a really good idea. Why doesn't he incorporate it in today's thoughts? What he basically did was he just took this hair here. Watch my hands, because it's important that you watch my hands. Are you guys having a good day out there? It's very warm out here in Chicago. What you're going to do is you're going to take your 2 fingers like this. You're going to put your 2 fingers like this, slide that around, and grab that hair like that as a knot. You're going to pull this through like this. And now all you're going to do is take that knot, tug on it a little bit, and push it forward. All you have to do is put 2 bobby pins in there, and there you begin your bump. You can start your braids going this way. You can start all your updos falling on this idea. Now, you don't have to do this in the beginning. You can actually do your whole braid and then do this at the end. Matter of fact, what I'm probably going to do now is I'm probably going to show you how to do an idea of that just from parties. My biggest thing in what I do now in the hair industry is I have a tendency to, I have to talk to the client before I start my updos. I have a tendency to jump right in with my own ideas. But today's business climate is very much changed with that. So I do have clients who say, go, I don't care, do what you want. But I have a lot of new clients that want me to do specific things. So I learned to have a consultation that is a consultation. What I used to offer as far as my services and things like that, I now make sure that I talk to them and find out where they're looking. I don't know if it's part of being a hairdresser for so long, or it's part of being a hairdresser in a salon for so long, or it's part of being a stage artist for so long. But I'm going to show you a trick right now for an updo that I just recently did, and use it for what it's worth. I'm going to take this and I'm going to take 1 single braid out of right here. So I'm going to take a triangle. I'm going to take that triangle like that. Now this is pretty easy stuff. So if you want to get a cup of coffee, now's the time. So I'm going to take this piece like this and I'm going to make a braid out of it. And when I braid this, try to keep it even because you're going to be pinning things to it. So I make my braid. Most people think you start this from the top. You're actually going to start this whole updo from the bottom. So here we begin like this. I feel like I got a ping pong ball in my head. I got so many ideas. Now you can stop this whenever you want, do whatever you want with it. When we're all done with this, this is going to look like a drapery that goes into a heart. So when you flip this under, that's going to almost create a heart effect. I know you're all standing there thinking, what's he talking about? Well, once you see this braid start coming together, you'll understand. It's not as complicated as we make it. So there's your braid. Nothing more than a 3-strand braid. Sometimes when I'm braiding hair, I actually envision myself being in Jamaica, sitting on the beach braiding hair. Yeah.
Bo Derek running down.
Bo Derek, yeah. I wonder what her rapper name would be. You know? Well, back in the day, you know, she was Bo Derek, and you said the word Bo Derek, and everybody thought they knew who you were talking about. Now they know these rappers have names, and so she probably has some cool name. A lot of one-name people in our lives, and it changes for others. Okay, now see when you created this braid like this. I'm going to make it pretty. I'm not going to make it that tight today because I am going to take this down. but now you have this single braid. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come over here like this. Now you're gonna see me pinning this stuff out of the way, and the reason why I'm pinning it out of the way is just for aesthetics, just for the look of it. And the side out of the way too. There you go. Take it right to there. This is my girdle, so I try to not beat this hair up too bad. If it looks like it's getting out of control, you might see me stop and brush through it. Baby blue. Sometimes I pin it to the client's ear just because they made me mad the last time I cut their hair. Now, as you can see, I got two pieces right here. Okay. Let me make sure I got my bobby pins in the right spot. I get my little bobby pins ready. Oh, here they are, right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little bobby pins ready. And I'm going to take this section right here, comb it out like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this section of hair, I'm going to loop it around this section, reach my hand over like this, and drop it through. Now you see what I just did? I'm going to create this loop like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bobby pin up, I'm going to slide it inside, and I'm going to lock that just like that. I'm going to take this side, comb it out also. I know there's some of you out there, you're like, yeah, you already know what I'm creating, so don't ruin it. It's kind of like your kid at Christmas. You're going to take this and you're going to do the exact same thing. And when you go around this side, you're going to just drop this over like this. And can you kind of see what you're starting to do there? You're going to take your bobby pin, slide your bobby pin right up underneath there, and lock that in. Now this is going to start to get like a boned effect. So the next section is going to do the exact same thing. Pin it back up. These are fun things, guys. These are things that you do for special occasions. This is something I actually just did this for an updo for a wedding. So when you're doing things like that, you have to be ready for them. You might have to adjust them. You might have to practice them a couple times. I never do a wedding without having a trial. And I don't mean a trial is to see who's guilty. I mean, a trial is to see if the bride likes it, the mother of the bride likes it, the lady doing the dress likes it, the best friend of the mother of the bride, her best friend. Okay. You can kind of see what I'm creating here, right? It's the kind of stuff I just wake up one day and do in my sleep. So I'm going to bring this around like this, loop it through. Huh? Put my bobby pin. Catch it. There it is. Locked it in. I'm going to do this side the same. Take it around. Loop it through. If you want, you can actually buy smaller bobby pins and you can hide them. In this case here, we don't really care because when we're all done, we're going to hide the bobby pins anyway. You kind of see what you're creating there. Come over here and do it again. A lot of times when I do these on stage, the models have a tendency to have a lot less hair than this. So I don't make my braids so long, but you can do it however you want. It's up to you. You know, don't be a second-hand Joe, be a first-hand you. Combing it out. Are you liking this so far? Am I giving you something to build on? What I do is I just take this around like this, put my 2 fingers in there, loop it around. A lot of times when people see me do this in the salon, even though it does build my clientele, it actually builds the clientele of the girls around me. A lot of my girls that work for me and have been with me, they're very creative. So when people see somebody doing something new, no matter who it is in the salon, it starts kind of a chatter, and people start talking, and so it's good to keep the salon chatter in a good, positive situation, especially to the artistic side of it. There's my next section. I'm going to take my next section of hair, pull it all together. I'm trying not to spray this too much because I got to use her again. When you spray hairspray from 10 inches away, you're always going to get the best results.
Joey had a question. Someone asked, how would this look on hair that is curlier?
Fantastic. That's a great idea. They actually use this to do the curly head and the mohawks that we do for shows. That was a great question. She asked, how would this look on curly hair? These work out fantastic for curly hair. It gives it a real textury kind of look. You can do this all the way up on the top of the head, which you would create a chignon effect with a braid hanging all over. There is one that I used to do. I used to do one a few years back, and that's exactly what I used to do. I used to do this on curly hair.
Someone else said they're very excited to see the result of this technique. And somebody else said this has been a lot of fun so far.
Oh, good. Well, it's a good day. I always enjoy being around. I always enjoy educating. I always enjoy talking to people and having fun. And it's a little too thick, so make sure you don't take your sections too thick. You start eating up that hair.
Somebody else said, I usually do not complete an updo during a trial. Give them an idea. Does not come out perfectly the same on the special day. Had a bride cry. It wasn't exactly the same.
That's a good idea. Always remember, we're all human. I have a plaque on my station that says, relax, it's not a competition, we're all crazy. So in our industry, you have to be a little bit of creative, you have to be a little bit of a psychologist, you have to be a little bit of an artist, you have to be a little bit of many things. But the one thing you'll always have to remember that you have to be in our industry is you have to be the kind, gentle soul that helps them through their daily lives. In the last few years, I've had so many clients of mine pass away from cancer and different things. It actually brought me to a different level. I make very sure, especially when I'm dealing with newer clients, that I am creating an image with them. That image that I am creating with the newer clients is that they feel more comfortable talking to me than some of them have actually told me. They feel more comfortable talking to me than they feel talking to their husband or their family members. I don't judge them. I'm very kind to them. I always put myself in a position, especially when it's somebody that I haven't done their hair before. I put myself in a position to listen and not react. Take 45 seconds after they tell me what they want, think about it, look around the room, ask myself, is this something that's going to be beneficial to them? And then I start my consultation. This stuff like this is very, very, very artistic. So if you're going to have new clients and they're going to see your work and they're going to see this kind of work coming from you, they're actually going to think you can walk on water. I have clients that I only do updos on, and they go to somebody else in the salon for their highlights and everything else. And I'm always kind of like, why don't you just come to me? But the moral of the story is they like my updos. They like the other stylists' conversation.
I can't understand it.
Yeah. Now you can see how cool this is starting to look. It's got that very boned effect, especially by today's standards. I mean, people love this kind of stuff. Sometimes in the salon, I'll just, especially if I had one of those days, sometimes you have those days where you've been cooking all day long and it's getting to be about 6:30, 7 o'clock, and your last client's really not your last client. She's your friend, and you want to do something special. And so I'll say, hey, if you got a few minutes, let me try an idea I've been knocking around in my head for a show. I've never actually had somebody said, no, I'm in a hurry. I've always had them say, oh, Joe's got a new idea. Yeah, go right ahead, try it. I'd love to see it. The lady's hair one time, real fancy. She told me, this is really great, but I'm going to my son's baseball game. So. Through the last couple of years, because of many things, I think my clientele has grown so much because I learned one thing more than I had never had before. I had the compassion for my work and not the money of my work. Even though I do make good money, I charge like everybody else. I just have such a different compassion these days for my work. Look at how beautiful that's turning. Can you see that? At one point, you're gonna have this down so good that you'll be able to do this in minutes. Personally, myself, it takes me about 10 minutes to do this normally. It's just when I'm talking and I'm not concentrating, I'm not doing it as fast as I usually do. When you're all done with this, you'll understand why you have to look at it from a distance. You have to look at it close up. What I found being a stage artist doing updos is that a lot of times, if you're too close to an updo, you miss it. You miss the artistry of it. You're concentrating so hard on doing it the right way and being technical that you miss the artistics. We all have had that happen. Everybody here, everybody in your life has had somebody who throws stuff together, makes it look like $1 million, and you're standing on the side going, how the heck do they do that? How they do that is they understand the artistry of it. They understand the balance of it. They understand the focus of it.
Somebody said it looks really cool. Somebody else, wow, it looks really pretty. Gorgeous. I wish I had longer hair so someone could try it on me.
Beautiful. This goes pretty quick as far as like if you were doing a bridal updo. And what I'm going to do when I'm all done, and think about this, because remember I always say, don't be a secondhand Joe, be a firsthand you. Could you curl these ends? Yes. Could you take this and dishevel it and break it apart? Yes. Could you take this and spread it in different angles and create different movements with this? Yes. Could you tuck this under? Could you? Yes. All those things are yes. This thing is put together rather tactfully. So when you're creating this, you got that in your mind. You have to have that end result in your mind, knowing where you're going to finish with it. Now this comes along with a knot.
How much time would you typically spend on this in the salon if you weren't teaching the technique?
A whole updo, I never spend more, I try not to spend more than 45 minutes. I've seen people who are chasing them out the door in the last bobby pin in. I think if you've ever seen me do updos on stage, you know that I already practiced them 40 or 50 times. So I do own the technique.
And what would a charge for something like this typically be?
Depending on who it was and what it was for. If I'm traveling doing this, there's an automatic $100 charge plus the style. So it would be a good $165 to $200. Now these last two are very important because this is what I call the bones of it. When you reach under here, it makes it really difficult to get this one. So I'm going to spread it like this, and I'm just going to feed it through very gentle. Very gentle. Brush that out of there. So you see how I almost start to fatten these up? I actually don't know anybody else that I've ever seen do this except one of my editorial hairdresser friends, and he lives in Boston. So he's the only guy that I ever saw do this, and I actually taught it to him many years ago, and for some reason he kept it in his repertoire and he uses it. So other than that, I mean, it's a very unique technique. Have you guys ever seen this before? Huh? Okay.
Back in the day, we used to do a fishtail.
Fishtail. Sure. That's a braid. But yeah.
But then you pull it up to the top.
Exactly. You got it. Now this last section, you got to sneak your two little fingers through there. See how I'm sneaking my two little fingers through there? And when you grab that little braid, you're going to sneak your fingers right underneath there. Hold on. Grab it like that. Bring it through. Bring it over the top. Come on. You're going to make it. You're good. Now that is exactly the way I'd wanted to finish this. Normally I have to go back and tuck it apart and spray it apart, but this I do not. Okay. Watch what I'm going to do because this is an important part of it. What I've done is you now have the bones of this. You can see how artsy it looks. It's very creative looking. Watch this. Watch what I'm going to do next, though. I'm going to take a rubber band. I'm going to fold these all into the middle. I'm going to take a rubber band. Don't make it too tight. And turn it twice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this forward and pin it up. Just like this.
Natasha said it looks beautiful. And Susie asked, what do you do to ends if they don't want them hanging? So this is one option.
Sure, you can curl them. You're going to do, that's not good. Don't do that again. What you're going to do is you're going to just take a bobby pin, slide it up through there, slide it in through there, and it's going to go right back into the braid. There's your bobby pin. Pretty amazing. Pretty easy stuff, actually. You just got to practice it.
Barbara said it looks so pretty.
And that's all just nothing more than a loop. you've done nothing more than loop the hair. So what I usually do with this is I actually just go through and put these in. The creative side of all this is actually in you. I'm just giving you a tool for your toolbox. Think about the idea that you created. Remember I told you this would start to look almost like heart-like? If you could flip a heart upside down, that's almost what it looks like. Now, if you're doing something for a wedding, you mentioned the word heart-like and people just, oh my God. That's their little something blue. Oh, too much. Right there, call it a day. How's that look to you?
Great.
Now, remember I told you about the knot. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do exactly what I told you we were going to do. Hold on, don't be spinning around. That's the only thing good about doing it on clients. They don't spin. Okay, now we're going to spray this. Spray? Please tell me which way we spray.
Down,
Always with the direction of the hair.
down the shaft.
Down the shaft, exactly. That's why you got guys like Jerry. He knows his stuff. He's got that gun. He's always ready to pull the trigger. He knows what he's doing.
I'm a good watcher.
Yeah. Now, on top of this, all we're going to do is as we take this hair, watch my hands, because this is, I see a lot of people do this and they mess it up and then they're trying to overcompensate for it. Spray down on the hair. Watch what I'm going to do with my hands. I'm going to take my hands like this. Take my two fingers. I'm going to bring them around, flip them, and pinch it. Once I pinch this, I'm going to drag it through. Now, I now control this knot. Do I want to push it forward? Do I want to pull it back? This knot in particular, I'm going to push it forward just a tad. And I'm going to bend it under. And we're going to pin it. Another time, you do not open this pin. If you open this pin, you will take too much hair. It will start to back itself out. I do not want it to do that. Now, I have a lot more ideas on this particular idea for doing hair. If you ever want to see them, please just call me personally. There's so many things you can do with these. There's my creation. How beautiful she looks from the front. Oh, got extra hair. Usually when I do that, I just cut those off. But I hate to think one hair would mess up my updo. Now, see how easy that was? It's just so beautiful and soft and elegant.
Someone is asking, do you use the longer or shorter tip of the bobby pin to enter first?
I use the longer. It's a good question. The reason why they ask if you use the longer or the shorter is if you use the top part of a bobby pin, which is the serrated side, it won't back out, but when you go to take it out, it will give you a little bit of problems. Okay, now I'm going to take this down and then I'm going to go into another idea. I have about 386 ideas for tricks and ideas in hair. I'm always doing them. I showed you some basics just now that you can use to build what I call updo clientele. A lot of people don't like an updo clientele nowadays. They'd rather go to somebody else.
I used to run.
They have people run and hide from updos.
Yeah.
Elizabeth said stunning. Cher would have worn that too.
Yeah.
Nicole said very Cher.
Very sure. Oh, thank you so much for commenting. We love to hear the feedback. Okay. So that's my looping braid. And what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to do I'm going to do an idea of an under braid. And no, I'm not going to do an under braid. I'm actually going to do a giant chignon. So once I do my giant chignon, I'll start a whole new idea in your head for doing hair. Chignons they were very popular in France, and that's where they actually began, thus the name chignon. And I've seen so many versions of them, I don't even really know what an original chignon looks like. Yeah, when they take this apart, as long as they take these bobby pins out, they'll have no problems. It's not one of those styles that you're taking 2 months to get it out, even though you got it in for only 6 hours. The bobby pins come right out. I'll cut the big rubber. I'll cut the rubber band and call it a day.
So the style holds up real well.
Yeah, it is a good style, especially if you're doing. I call it. There's 3 different styles I do updos for. I call one a romance style, and this would be a romance style. The other one I call is more for a dancing style, and the other one I call if you're going out and it's a dinner, your husband, and probably a wrestling match. So them are the ones I know they gotta last, you know. Yeah, wrestling match. It's not coming down no matter what. So you gotta know what your product's gonna do and how your product's gonna be put out there. As you can see, I think I got everything. I'll take this one off first. Watch how quick this comes apart. So it's almost hysterical. Take that apart first. Come in here, take this one apart second. There you go. All right, now watch how it all comes apart. It just comes apart. So you know I've done it more than 50 times. If I can take it apart, it's 10 times quicker than I put it up.
Someone else said it's a very practical.
Thanks. Okay, next I'm going to do a thing called a giant chignon. And this is something that every time I use it, I'm always amazed on how good it comes out. The thing about it is it actually comes out on people better than it does mannequins. When you have people, you can kind of feel the way the neck is, the way the hairline is. Mannequins are pretty basic. Okay. I'm also going to show you a couple techniques today with things that I build for photo shoots, ideas that I do for photo shoots. Okay. Anyway, I get a glass of water. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to I'm gonna use the same parting that I used on this. I kind of like this parting. I'm feeling pretty comfortable with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually take this hair here and I'm gonna part it off, pin it out of my way. Pin it out of my way.
So did you use those clips that I used?
Yeah.
They work out good?
You know something? They work out so good, just about everybody in the salon stole them from me. They were great clips. Okay. This is gonna be the beginning of your chignon. What you're gonna do is you're gonna comb this hair, take this back. Now you gotta watch my hands on a lot of these things. I know it comes out, it looks like it's pretty simple, but a lot of it is how you handle the hair, handle your hands. The outcome is always very predictable for me because I do practice quite a bit. One of the things I find out, especially as I'm competing with younger hairdressers these days, is most hairdressers nowadays don't want to practice. They want to come into the salon, they want to do their 4 to 6 hours and they want to go home, which is fine. I get it. But I can tell you, it's like any other job, that person who stays just a little longer and does that one extra thing, that person who tries something that nobody else in the office tried, they do that one more thing. You've got to give yourself to this industry. You can't be at certain levels just by showing up. I wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. Okay. Now, because I want this chignon a little higher, I take my first section lower. If I wanted it up here, what I would do is put my ponytail here. But since I want it lower, I'm going to put my ponytail lower here. So when it comes up and lifts around, this is going to be where my strapping is going to go. Okay. So watch what I'm going to do. Take. We always have these already made. I can't find. What I'm going to do for the first one is I'm going to take a rubber band. I'm going to twist the rubber band like this. And I'm going to put my bobby pin in there. Hey, you know something? There you go. Now that's my bobby pin. I'm going to take another bobby pin and do the exact same thing on the other side. Now, as I hold this like this, you got to check both sides because you can't cover one ear and not cover the other. Take the nape of the neck. Make sure it's underneath there and it's taut. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my bobby pin in there like this. Twist my bobby pin around, holding it with my other hand like this. And pin it like that. Now I have it under control, so I can comb it out and do what I need to do. One piece didn't go in, so maybe we'll take it down and do it again. What happens is this, all you have to do is just pop your bobby pin. One bobby pin and all comes apart. There you go. That's what I meant by watch my hands, because you got to make sure you get all these pieces in there. Oh, I'm trying my back pocket. Okay. that time what happened was when I took my rubber band around, I missed a piece. And I think the reason why I missed a piece is because it was between my fingers. Put my rubber band in there like that. Put my thumb on it to lock it. Pull this nice and tight. There you go. And wrap it just like this. Bring it around. Don't miss any of those pieces. Go above them. Go above it. You might have to fight with it a little bit, but you got it secured. That makes sense to you? Now, when you're going to create this chignon, what you're going to do is you're going to take your first section of hair right here, and you're going to backcomb it. But remember, this is going to be your top of your chignon. So you're going to backcomb this. You're going to backcomb it pretty aggressive, but you're going to be locking your backcombing. So this one, you're going to quit your backcombing probably about half shaft, somewhere around there. Now we're going to take the next section. Change combs. This. This. Now I'm locking my backcombing. Notice the way my comb is. My comb is not like this. It's like this. It's like this. So I'm pushing that hair into that other hair. As I'm pushing that hair into that other hair, each section is going to go into there and lock it. So as aggressive as you want to be is up to you. My last section, I will backcomb all the way to the top. Are you liking this?
Yes, sir.
So here we go. Now this is a great idea because you can really start to get creative with this. This will make you do things that you never thought you could do. Because
She loves it.
you're in so much more control. You just backcombing that. You're creating this lift. Remember I told you my last section, I'll probably backcomb it to the tip, almost to the tip. Okay. Now I'm going to drape it over my arm. And I'm just going to smooth it out very soft. But it's already been softened because my first section, I didn't beat it up. I didn't get aggressive with it. Okay. I'm going to spray it. I can feel the padding is right about where my thumb is. That's what I call my padding. And when you do this, you're creating this very soft pattern of and this is another thing. This is a great idea. I actually learned this from a young lady in New Hampshire named Shelley Devlin. She would hit the hair with a hairspray, and then she would clean it up with a shine spray. And the reason why she cleaned it up with the shine spray was the shine spray only affected the top layers of hair. So what would happen was they would look more finished and the underneath would still have the hold of a hairspray. I'm going to take another rubber band and 2 bobby pins. Whoop. Take an eye out like that. Crisscross my rubber band. Clip it in there. Now watch how I do this because this is very important to creating this type of a chignon. Now, this chignon is going to go pretty simple. It's just you got to know what you're doing here. Okay, remember I told you this was going to be my padding right here. It's still my padding. I'm going to take this piece. I'm going to bunch it together in my hand. I'm going to raise it up pin this into here. That's where I want my chignon to sit. And then I'm going to just go across it like this. Hold on, let me grab this. I'm going to go across it like this. And pin it right there. And I'm going to bring this back across like this. Now, what you can do with this, and I've seen it done many times, is if it's not sitting the way you want, you can actually spread it with your fingers. Move it over with your fingers. Now, personally, myself, I sometimes leave this like this because I like this look. Can you see what you're creating here? Just this real ponytail free kind of wild look. But I said I was going to show you how to do a chignon, so I'm going to show you how to do a chignon. Grab it like this. Make a nice ponytail out of it. You know, I just did a boo-boo of boo-boos. What you do whenever you spray a hairspray, you never get too close. Hairspray is made to be sprayed from at least 10 inches away. The reason why is if you get too close like I just did, you'll get wet spots, and you don't want wet spots in your updos. You want that hair to be movable, workable, but you still want it to have that shine and tack to it. I usually don't say this, but in that time, don't do what I did. Do what don't do what I say, not what I did. Okay, now you're gonna just take a rubber band, put a rubber band around this at the bottom. Now this is where I see a lot of people mess up, is they start twisting this bottom. Try not to twist it. Try to just back it off a little bit like that. But just
says very similar to how my mom used to do her hair when she was in beauty school in the 60s.
yeah. Back home and just a little bit like that. Now what you're going to do is you're going to actually take this and you're going to flip this under and bring this all the way up to that. Hold on. Now, do you see how beautiful that's come out and created? That is like almost perfect. Today must be a good day. I'm not fighting with any of this. 10 inches away always. Now that is a perfect chignon. I don't know if you like it, if you don't like it, if you think it's too much. Just touch it up wherever you feel like you need it. And even though you've created this, you can mess it up. That's one of my things I always do with any hairstyle. After I'm done with it, I mess it up and I try to see what it creates.
Would this be good for super thick, heavy hair?
Fantastic for super thick, heavy hair. Little difficult if hair is very, very fine. Little difficult. Hair that's very, very fine, you might have to wrestle with it a little bit, back home it a little more, but you will get it to where you want it. Okay. Now, do you want me to go in? Should I go into the next step where I'm going to do flowers, or should I do the front first? Let me do the front first.
Nicole said, I love it, classic, but still modern.
Oh, I love that girl. Can she hear me?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Now this is another idea. Yeah, remember I told you whenever you're going to back home, you have to pick the direction that you back home from and to. So we're going to pick the back homing direction from the front to the back. So I'm gonna back home her very lightly because the first one. And then the next ones, I get a little bit more aggressive each one.
Nicole said, I love you too, Liza.
Ah,
And Barbara said, just like Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman.
bingo. It's the exact updo. Wow, somebody knows their stuff. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, sometimes I'll see an updo that I've done on stage, and I'll see it like I remember seeing what was his name? Gibson was in it. Mel Gibson. He did a nice where he was a warrior, and all those updos were things that I used to do on stage. Matter of fact, most of my counterparts had done them on stage, so to actually see them in films was amazing. Now see, I'm getting a little bit more aggressive here. Now this is my last section. For my last section, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull it up. Wow, that was really good that she knew that was from Pretty Woman. Good job, Barb.
And somebody was asking the Mel Gibson movie, was it The Patriot?
No, it wasn't. It was I can't remember.
The one where he was doing the big war.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't The Patriot, but it was
Braveheart.
Braveheart. 10 cents. Good job. Okay, now this we're going to smooth this out. Remember, we didn't get too aggressive. I'm going to smooth this out, and I'm going to actually trap this with a bobby pin. I'm sorry, a hairpin, not a bobby pin. I'm going to trap it. Yeah, the movie was Braveheart. I'll never forget. I saw every braid I ever learned to do in one movie. So when I'm going to trap this, what I'm going to create where is my bobby pin? Bobby pin. These are actually hairpins. People don't use them much anymore. This is actually a hairpin. And what I'm going to do is when I say I'm going to trap this, I'm going to put this hairpin on top of this. I'm going to put this hairpin on top of this, open it up as far as I can open it, and I'm just going to put it on it like that to trap it. You see how I trapped it? That hairpin is going to come out. It's not going to stay. Oh, sorry, guys. This is all going under again. Oh, 10 inches away, learn your lessons. A little bit of shine. I'm gonna loosen it up just a touch. Just a touch. Okay. You can curl this, you can do just about anything you want, but I'm gonna put it into the chignon. And it's an easy way to do it too, by the way. It's not difficult. I've seen I've seen also a young lady from New Hampshire who used to do a curl out of this. I've seen her, she does loops out of this. You can do whatever you want to with it. It's up to you. I'm just going to tuck it away today. I just feel that that's what I want to do today. So I'm going to tuck this away.
Someone is asking, Joe, could you use a barrette where the hairpin is?
Very much so. Sure. Sure. I'm gonna actually use that as a jumping off point for something else. So I have it so I can take it out, but if you wanted to get very decorative with it, you can. You can get as decorative with it as you feel. People, when I was young, people didn't want to show me this kind of stuff. What they wanted to show me was, they wanted to show me things that weren't artistic. They wanted to show me things that this is definitely a thing for artistic hairdressers. This isn't for somebody who's doing hair and doesn't really want to be there, but their mom and dad made them go to beauty school. Okay, so now we got this. We're going to pinch this off like this. This is one of the few times you'll see me open a bobby pin. Open the bobby pin, put it on there. Get all the hair. Twist it once, away it goes. Okay. Now this is going to come out. And what you can do, is what I'm going to do at least, I'm going to take this piece, this bobby pin, and I'm going to slip it in there and slide it backwards. This hairpin, it's not a bobby pin, it's a hairpin. So see, I created, can you see that little pucker I created? You didn't think I practiced your thing you sent me, did you?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know you.
I practiced it. Now that is as amazing as it gets as far as like chignons go. If you were going to do this for a bride, spread this out, put your bobby pins in the bottom. That is a beautiful look. But we're going to take it another step. Okay? What I'm going to do, I like the way it looks. I appreciate it. But I want it to be different. So I'm going to take my flowers. I make these hair flowers out of old hair that I get off the ground at the salon. I'll show you how to make them out of whiffs, and I'll also show you how to make them out of hair at the salon. I'm going to bend them like this.
Elizabeth said it's very flattering.
I'm going to bend my hair flowers. I'm going to comb them up. When you do your hair flowers, if you get in the habit of doing this, blowing into them and just very lightly spraying them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my hair flowers and I'm just going to press them in like that. Spread it out. You see what you're creating there? I'm going to put one there, one there, one there. Now you can see this one here, someone got very aggressive when they made it. So it's a little thicker. Do you want me to show you how to make these, or do you all know how to do them?
Nicole said brilliant, and Tasha said yes, please show. Okay.
So when they get aggressive like this with the hair, I'll show you how to make these. It's a lot simpler than you think. This is actually, this one here I made, or somebody made in the salon. They actually made this off of my client's hair.
Barbara would also like to see how to make them.
So can you kind of see what you're starting to create here? You're starting to create an actual illusion. This is going to be very, very, very textury. This is not very textury. This is very sleek. So you've created two different looks on one head of hair. Okay. And here's another aggressive one. When they make them and they get aggressive, it makes it a little harder for me to work with them, but I can also work them better. I can make them move. I can make them dance. I can flatten them. I can make them stand straight out. Just because I'm doing them this way doesn't mean you have to do them this way. I'll show you different ways of using these.
Nicole says her cat is bad at her flowers on the screen, so she approves too.
Now this one here, I'm just going to tuck it right behind your ear there. And now you've made a whole new texture out of something that was very sleek. One might be too big. You guys think it's too big, or you think I should keep it? Keep it? I heard too big and I keep it.
That's what makes the world go around.
So it makes the world go around. Okay. This one's a little smaller, not spread out.
Barbara said, I like the flowers colored in pinks and purple. Keep it. Natasha said, very nice contrast.
Ah. Now what you can do is, as soon as you get these in there like that, you have your choice of what you can do. Because they're in there. There you go. I like that a lot better. You can take your hairpins and set them in the middle. I have to spread them open a little bit.
Natasha said, I agree, colors would be an awesome touch. Carla said, beautiful.
But do you see what you're starting to create just from those flowers? Very beautiful movement.
Yeah, like
it. Okay. I'm gonna take this down and I'm gonna go through on how to make these flowers and show you how easy they are to make. Is it okay if I show them how to make flowers?
oh yeah.
So
Begging for more.
now, remember I told you this in here, I pinned that like that. If you just left this just like that, this is very artistic.
So let me see that tag again.
Sure.
On this side.
Oh, that's okay. Let me spread it a little bit. This is very artistic. It just got that look. So them two little pinches that you put right in there thinking, oh my God, that means nothing. It means a lot. Okay?
Barbara said, very pretty.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to make a flower.
Elizabeth said, truly masterful.
Tell her thank you.
You just told her.
I just told her. Okay. This was actually some hair that we got off the floor at the salon. So here it is. What we do is you just take a rubber band. You take a rubber band. Sorry about that. You're going to take a rubber band and you're going to put it around the hair like this. You're going to take the rubber band, you're going to put it around the hair like this.
pretty tight, right?
Yeah, it has to be really tight. And then what you're gonna do, as soon as you get it tight like that, you're gonna just take your scissors and you're gonna cut the end off. Watch.
Barbara's asking, what's at the base of the piece?
Well, that's the second part of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this section here that I cut and I'm gonna hot glue it. Okay, that's what this is. See, I hot glued this. Can you see I hot glued it with a hot glue gun? There's my hot glue gun. I just take my hot glue gun and I hot glue that and I make it like that. I dip it in cold water and then I got that. That makes sense to everybody. Everybody on the same page. Everybody okay with that? Okay. Now we're going to act like we never used this section because that I just used to show you. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of flip it up and see where it's at. So I can kind of see that this flower is pretty spread out. Do I want it this big? That's your decision. If you want it shorter, all you do is come in, find your spot you want it, cut it off. Now we all know in nature, nothing is perfect. Nature is actually beautiful because it is perfectly imperfect. Now there's your flower. Again, I'm going to take nothing more than a hairpin, not a bobby pin, a hairpin. I'm going to take a hairpin. See this hairpin right here? It's a hairpin, not a bobby pin, rounded at the ends. Okay. I'm going to take that hairpin. I'm going to pinch it together like this. I'm going to put it in between where the rubber band is and against the hot glue. And then all I'm going to do is press down and see how it comes out. You see how it comes out like that? There. When that grabs the middle of that, it actually helps this flower spread out. So now you could use it like this if you wanted to. Or you can make it into anything you want. You could have left it really long and just put it in there and made the loops around it. You can do anything you want with that. This one in particular, what I'm going to do, by blowing on it, you give it that sparse, but it also helps you bend it. So now you've created a beautiful flower look. It's amazing how easy it is. That's the thing about it that always kind of freaked me out. And you can use it. You know something? I really hate to say this, but when you have this kind of ability and thing, you have to learn to charge. Because not many people I know would go and make you flowers for your wedding that match in your hair or not match in your hair.
Natasha said, thanks for sharing this skill.
So. So now you have two beautiful flowers and it costs you absolutely nothing because all you've done is taken hair from the floor, put a rubber band around them, cut them off, hot glued them, boom, you got a hair accessory. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go into something else. It just takes me a minute to, any questions on the flowers, by the way, because it's pretty simple stuff.
Carla said, very creative. Barbara said, love it. Love it with the colored hair.
Okay. So you're going to go into different ideas. What I'm going to try to do next is I already did this 3 chignon. Should we go into an easier idea for as far as updos go? Because there's quite a few that you can jump around in from here. Maybe we should do some rubber band updos. Let me show you a technique and you can use it however you want.
Someone else said, thank you. The flowers are so cute. Brilliant idea. Thank you for your teaching.
Let me show you something that I don't know if you're going to like it or not, but it's something that you can always use. Take this down a little bit. What I'm going to basically do is I'm just going to basically take this same idea and I'm going to take rubber bands and section this off and get into a whole new idea of this. Or do you want to see me do, or should I do loops on this? Any ideas? Or do you want to see both of them?
Vote for both.
Both. Got it. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I got to get this all combed out.
So this is shine, this is slick up.
Yeah, this what happens when you back comb hair too much, it has a tendency to break because you're back combing it. So what you try to do is make it as slick as you possibly can when you comb it out. So like take the brush and I'll hit it with the shine a couple times just to save the integrity of the mannequin.
You're not split ends that way.
Yeah, it's hard. This thing's been around me for 35 years and she's seen me go through good days, bad days. I'll do the loops first and then I'll come back and do the okay. Sorry, it just takes me a minute to get this all back combed out. Try to always use products that aren't going to beat your mannequins up or your clients up. Although there are clients that we feel that we need to beat up. Everybody's got that client. The tough one is when you have two of that client in one day. As I gotten older, I really changed my clientele. I'm kind of amazed because I always had a large clientele, but I never had a clientele that was a money spender. And I don't know if it's just that they changed or I changed, but now I have clients that spend money. They don't go on Amazon. They don't do this. They don't do that. They come in the salon. They feel as though we've always been a good business for them and we've always helped them out. So there's a dollar difference. It's better to buy it at my salon.
Joe, someone is asking the Shine product, is that beyond Shine?
That is beyond Shine. Yeah, there's a lot of good Shine products out there. I use Beyond Shine only because I know a lot about it. It does me, and it's always been my go-to. I'm sure everybody out there knows that the salon business has changed very much. So in our salon now, when we take on new stylists, we actually don't take them on as stylists, we take them on as partners. So we actually gear them, we actually train them to start their own businesses and they go right into our suites. So they'll work on the floor for 3 weeks to 3 months, depending on how long it takes them to build a clientele. And then after we get them to the point where we feel as though they're gaining clients every week, we put them in their own suite and create their own business model for them. So this way, when they do create their own business model, they are doing what? Making more money. So not all people are made for owning their own business. We also go that direction too. Right now, we only have one person who's a commissioned hairdresser, and the rest of them are all suites. We only have, and obviously it's worked, because we only have a half of a chair that's not taken right now. So that's a good sign for progress in our industry.
I might not say this correctly, but somebody said, I like sugar living.
Oh,
S-H-U-G-A.
okay.
Is that a Shine product?
I think it is a Shine product. Yeah, I've through the years, I've seen so many new products come out. I've seen so many new ideas for products. My mind is wide open. I'm not connected to nothing. I'm open for anything. I told you I was going to show you loops. Here's loops. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cross this over like this. Spin it around. Take this over like this. Spin it around. Take it through. Whoop, sorry. Take it through. Spin it around. Cross it over. Take it through. And then I would just take this and I would pin this underneath. Or I would do another loop. Let's do another loop. You liking the way that looks? Take it this way, loop it that way, and pin it. You guys enjoying this? A lot of stuff in one day to take, huh? Sometimes in the world today, we have to build our own model for business. And I think there's a lot of good business models out there. I just think you have to find the fit for yourself. So when I found the idea of how I now do my my new partners.
Barbara said that is a great idea to train younger stylists to work their own business. And Samantha had a question. Have long, wavy, fine hair. Any ideas on doing it myself with updos?
386 ideas. There's all kinds of new ideas. Cross these over like this. So we'll cross over like this. And we'll keep this one going like this. Are you getting the ideas of loops? Should we go on to something else? Yes? No?
Sure.
Sure.
Yes. Yes. And another yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you a really cool idea what you're going to do with rubber bands.
Nicole said styling and true hairdressing is a whole different art form from color and cut. Great to see new ideas. Barbara said enjoying all the looks.
Yeah. To take this down, all you're going to do is, believe it or not, it pulls apart pretty simple. I still love this. I still love this idea. I haven't come up with anything new with it, but I'm sure you guys can. Tell me what you would think you would do is if you could get this, what would you do with this? What is your creation with just this idea right here? Would you flip it up? Would you pin it up? Would you curl it? Can you curl it? How does it build itself? Where can you go with it?
Someone suggested a curly pony.
Oh, good, good. I'm just fishing for ideas for right now. I'm kind of like, I thought about using that idea I showed you with the rubber band and pushing the bump forward like this and creating this that comes around like that and leaving it down.
Someone else said sweep the bangs under the tail.
Yeah, exactly.
And someone else said take it into a bubble braid.
Oh, never thought about that one either. Good job. A bubble braid.
Oh, great.
Someone else suggested you could basket weave it, not insurance.
Whoa. They're out of my league there. Way out of my league. I haven't basket weaved since the 70s. This is what I thought. And you guys tell me, you tell me. I thought if you took a rubber band and just put that rubber band on there like that.
Someone else said a center part.
Huh? These guys are awesome. Make it more of a messier look, something like that. And just pinned it like that. Leave that hair out. Maybe bend it under. How does that look?
1940s look.
Oh, good. Okay. Go to something else. Take this down. I'm gonna do a three knotted up to.
Someone else said yes, you could do a pinup look with victory rolls.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, I'm still kind of playing with it. I think there's something else there. I just don't know what. And when you take this down, remember I told you all you have to do is pull these two bobby pins. Do you see the two bobby pins right there? When you pull these two bobby pins, they come out pretty easy. Then this flips down. Now you gotta comb out all this back comb. And this is why she lasts me 35 years. I don't beat her up too bad. I try to be as kind to her as I can. She's always been really nice. I have 5 updo mannequins. And what I try to do is I try to spend at least 1 hour to 2 hours a week trying something new. Not trying something I can already do. Trying something new. I learned that from a musician. Musicians always take what they have and try to play it in a different way. And I think that's a God gift. I think if you can constantly play it in a different way, you can create something else. And that's where your mind has to go. We all have creative parts of our mind. And it's like anything else. If you don't use the creative part of your mind, you will lose it. I've seen many of amazing hairdresser, 5 years, 6 years on the road, all of a sudden they drop out. I'll run into them somewhere and I'll say, how you been? Oh man, I just need to see new ideas. And I'm kind of miffed by that. It's kind of like being in the salon and you're with people that just do the same thing and they're not creative at what they do and they're trying not to step on any toes. And I just think you gotta build and keep building and staying forward. And something, with every up comes a down, with every down comes an up. So you can't be upset by any of it. Just have to go with it. There's nothing wrong with change. If you'd have told me 20 years ago we'd be giving people their own suites, I would have thought you were crazy, but here we are today. Sweet salons are growing by leaps and bounds. Okay, there you go. That came out like that. Now I'm going to get this to comb out. Sorry it took too long. And I'm going to start dividing it up into my sections. And I'm going to do two different ideas. Do you want to see a French twist in a modern version? Or would you like to see, well, I can do them both. I can do them both. I can do a modern version of a French twist, and I can also do a 3-knot updo.
Samantha said if you don't learn something new each day, clean it up. That's what she always says.
You tell Samantha I said amen. That's the way to live your life. My father asked me every day he was alive, what'd you learn today, Joe? When I was young, I used to lie and tell him, oh, I learned this, or oh, I learned that. As I got older, I realized he was more right than I was cunning. So I actually started learning things. So,
Good advice.
huh?
Good advice.
Good advice. All right, I'm going to take her and I'm going to divide her in 3 parts. I'm going to divide her here, I'm going to divide her here, and I'm going to divide her here. So these 3 different updos. I'm going to make 2 updos, and then I'm going to go into a 3rd updo. Always pin hair the way you want it to move, by the way. I learned that from a young lady called Ann Bray. I was on stage with Ann for many years, and she taught me a lot of things. And I'm eternally grateful for actually knowing somebody who is so kind and so artistic.
She's still on the road?
Ann just finished a movie, Coming to America 2.
Oh, really?
She actually just finished 2 movies. I don't remember what the other one was. She did them both in Atlanta. Now that's all that backcombing that I put in there last time. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm actually going to take my finger and I'm just going to roll this down. Roll that down like that, pin that off. I'm going to take this section here. And this will be my first knot. A little too big. Now, believe it or not, I just did this exact updo for an ad last week. So it was kind of funny because the young lady that was the model for that ad said I had worked with her on a movie, and I haven't done a movie in years. So we'll just leave it at that. I'm going to brush this like this. That's very. Your tendency is having to get this tangled up. So if you have to push it out of your way, push it out of your way. Same thing, I'm going to take my, can't do it with that one. Get my hairspray on there. Everybody having a fun day so far?
Excellent.
Excellent day.
Yes, definitely.
Everybody else is sleeping.
I was 100%.
Can't sleep in this class. We can see you.
One of my best stories ever was I was in Paducah, Kentucky, doing a show, and the lady sitting in the front row did nothing the whole show but knit. She never looked up at the stage. She never, and it was driving me crazy because I could hear the knitting needles tapping each other. I got done with the show. I walked over. I was by the back door. And the lady came up to me and grabbed my hand and said, "Joe, that was the best show I ever saw." To this day, I can't believe it. I was thinking, she never even looked up. She was knitting the whole time.
She's a multitasker.
I'm telling you, I was kind of shocked. So that's the best show I ever saw.
Maybe it helps her focus. Maybe her knitting was like the equivalent of a stress ball. For
It was. I could hear those needles tapping each other. Tap, 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 tap. Okay, there's your first one. Pin it out of the way. This is going to be your second one. Okay, this is where you ask them to look down.
Elizabeth said she should have used bamboo needles. Maybe those are quieter.
Just tapping away, having a good old time. Okay, which way tightens? There we go. Okay. There's one that's pinned away. Now this will be our second one, and the top one's going to be our third one. What you're going to do is when you get this pinned, your first one is going to go around your second one. Your second one's going to go up to your third one. So it gets a little complicated in the beginning, but once you see it, it happens pretty simple. What do you do now? You put that bobby pin right on that rubber band. Now these, I'm not using the thick rubber bands because they're really not holding that much hair. When I'm holding a lot of hair, I use them thick rubber bands. The reason why I use those thick ones is because I never want someone to be walking down a runway or at a wedding and the rubber band snaps. If I'm actually doing a wedding or a show, I use 2 rubber bands. The reason why I use 2 is because sometimes people just move the wrong way, rubber bands rot. Sometimes they don't have the tension they're supposed to have. All kinds of reasons. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'm going to put that in like that. Wrap that around like that. It's hard nowadays to really get coiffured styles anymore. It seems like 9 out of 10 times you're either doing a braid or you're just taking something and diffusing it, which is fine. I don't mind diffusing hair. It's fine by me. This will be my third one. Take that front out right there. Now you're going to wrap this from the bottom. The bottom will wrap around and go to the top. The top will S pattern through and go to the bottom. Does that make sense? If it doesn't, Just scream and yell, I'll explain it to you.
Elizabeth is asking, do you put the pin in before you wrap it around?
Always. One side goes in, you wrap it around, and then the pin goes in. Does that make sense to you?
We'll see it in action in a second.
Yes, it makes sense.
What I try to do when I do these is I try to line them up where one of them's a little off-centered. So these two seem like they're pretty on-centered, so I'm gonna make this one off-centered.
Why? Because symmetry is boring.
Not because symmetry is boring. It's just because when you start to wrap them, the first couple times I did them, I used to do them very symmetrical. And I found out that they were easier to do and looked more natural if one of them was off. So when you start to make that S pattern, they're not all like, it's kind of off-centered. Makes that S pattern look a little more avant-garde. So I'm going to put my bobby pin in, and this time I'm actually going to use 2 rubber bands. So I have 2 rubber bands instead of 1. I'm going to grab it like this. Now this one's going to be a little tighter than the other one, so when I grab these, I have to really put them in there. But they actually come out so beautiful once you start backcombing them and stuff. I'm gonna bite these. There you go. Okay. No, you're not supposed to bite things in the hair industry. I'm gonna put that in there like that. Hold my finger. I'm gonna wrap it around. Put it in there like that. Hold my finger. Wrap it around. So what I'm going to do with this one, this piece here, I'm going to backcomb this piece. And this piece is going to make an S pattern down to the bottom. The bottom is going to make an S pattern up to the top. You can pull those hairs out. They're pretty simple. They don't. Get my section like this. Backcomb it very lightly because that's going to be my show. In your next section, by the time I'm done with this, it'll all be locked together. I'm going to backcomb all 3 of them before I start smoothing them out and putting them together. Okay. Now you see how this one's the one that's off? So I like that. I know that my first one's the one that's off a little bit. As they go around, you're going to find out they get pretty big. I think hair styling is still fun. I just don't think a lot of times in the salon we do much of the artistic part of it. We have a tendency to get into the humdrum part of it.
Bread and butter.
Bread and butter, exactly. And I think bread and butter is that, I mean, it's definitely got its place. I think if you've ever done competitions like Hair Wars or Nahas or the Mirrors or any of those, you start to see that there's so many different levels of our industry. You can't slice it up. That's how many different levels there are. There's a young man I follow out of Colorado. He's always got very witty sayings and does avant-garde work, and he hangs around with a group and they win the Nahas and everything like that. But I love his style. I think he's a great individual. I think he's got his own thing going on. And I applaud people like that nowadays. It's very hard with social media and all that stuff to not get caught up. Isn't that a beautiful idea? Is it hot out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now
What's the guy's name from what you say?
from Colorado?
Yeah.
His name's Charlie Price. A lot of the guys, Christopher Benson, Charlie Price, there's so many of them. They're just doing new things on a constant basis. And, I love seeing it. I love talking to them. It's always, everybody's got their own minds and ideas, and the days of being that person are pretty much gone because the world is so open now. Now, as I'm back home, and you can kind of see I'm locking all this back home together. Remember I told you I'm going to start doing what a musician does, and I'm actually going to start messing things up a lot more. I'm not going to be doing them so neat and tidy anymore. I have 3 rubber bands. That's what it looks like. Now, to be honest with you, the kid who works at my cigar store, he wears his hair just like this. He doesn't do anything to it. It's very ratted out. It's very dreaded. He loves it. Okay, let's get this combed down. Put a little shine on there. A little hairspray, a little shine. Going pretty fast today. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to go right around the other one. You're going to bump this like this. And this is going to go around this one and underneath this one. So we're going to put that aside for now. And we're going to back comb this. No hairspray, not at the beginning. Let's shine. Going to smooth this out. Now this is an idea that I actually I didn't borrow, I stole it. I actually stole it from a good friend of mine. And so she's watching or she sees it, just she'll know I stole it. Thanks, sir. That happens all the time in the salon. The top comes off your hairspray or comes off your. I love the way this is finishing up today. This is a very, very, very high sophisticated style. I move my hands to the way the hair goes on a constant basis. As you move your hands, look for the imperfections and you'll start to see them. If you see something that doesn't make sense, you can spread your hands out and spread it open like this. It's okay. I'll spread that. The other thing nowadays is you're doing so many curls when you're doing updos. It's just very hard to sit here and watch somebody just curl hair. Got this almost combed down. My hairspray on there. If you can, start to build your repertoire of different ideas that you have and photograph them yourself. I have about 2,000 pictures on my phone, and I'm always amazed because I'll have somebody show me an idea on Pinterest and I'll show them the exact same idea on my phone. And we open a discussion, and usually they're like, oh my God, I really like yours a lot better than the one I saw on Pinterest, or I like the way you did this, or I like this. And what happens is you start to create that thought. Now remember I told you this is going to go around this and then around the front and make that S. And then the front is going to go around that and down and make the back. See that? That front went around, the bottom came around, went up, and went in the back. So all I got to do is just pick this up a little bit and pin it like that. Spread it open. Now this is the front. So we're going to take this, and this is going to go the opposite way. Yes. This is pretty artsy stuff. It seems everybody always tells me it seems like it's so easy to do, and it is easy to do if you've done it 50 times. If you've not done it 50 times, it gets a little complicated. So now you're going to turn this, and this is going to go around the centerpiece, around the center, and it's going to go over the bottom. Comes through the bottom there. And you see what happened? Look at how beautiful that comes out. That's gorgeous. What you're going to do is bobby pin that and flip it. This is what you're creating. This is the look you're starting to create. These lifts are all over the place. It's just like one giant roll of hair. So as you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're spraying and smoothing. And then at the end, you're going to actually mess this all up. And this last one here is going to go over the side and onto the top. This is going to come around. It's going to go around this, and it's going to go over the top. So now that's coming like that. You have one giant braid that goes into two giant twists. One of the things I can always tell you about anything you do with this is if you spray in the direction of where it's going, it starts to look very smooth and soft and elegant. Pin this all up.
Samantha says, thank you for showing me the back combing technique to getting the top smooth. Finding myself combing it out and having to redo.
Oh, that's difficult stuff. Soft back combing comes out very easily, and it has a tendency to not look very natural. Believe it or not, the tighter back combing that's locked looks more natural. So it's kind of a catch-22. It's hysterical because a lot of times when you do these, I mean, look at that. That's not even done, and it looks looks fantastic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this last section like this, grab my roll right there, put my bobby pin across it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my bobby pin, I'm going to slide it just a touch to the end and put one roll to it. When I put that one roll to it, you're going to watch what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to tuck that piece underneath that roll, and it's going to actually act like the back homing. You see what I just did? It just goes away.
Susie asked if you could do that look horizontally.
You could. Great question. If you did it horizontally, it actually changes the whole facet of the way you've done it. But that's a great idea. When people tell me things like that, I actually get excited because I know right there she was thinking about something. This here is the top. Damn, it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
That's probably accidental.
Accidentally on purpose.
Accidentally. I actually stole this outdo idea from a girl that I used to work on stage with. And I used to watch her do it. And I would say, why doesn't she do it like this? Why doesn't she do it like this? Why doesn't she do it like that? And when I started doing it, it was like, you know, she could do it so many different ways, but she was just stuck in that one way. And so I kind of did make it my own because I just started stealing her idea and doing it differently than she was doing it. Are you guys liking this so far?
Gorgeous.
Now this is what this is very, very avant-garde wedding hair, by the way. It's a little out there, but the thing about it is, this is going to be the next thing.
Samantha says yes. Nicole says stunning.
A lot of times when I take that can and I put that can in there, it's just because it's so much smoother than your own hand. Your hand has a tendency to have a little stick to it, especially if you've been doing updos all day. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. That Saturday afternoon when you've been doing proms all day and you got hairspray in your nose and you can't figure out how to breathe, you haven't eaten, they're paying you, you're running out the door with the last girl putting the bobby pin in her hair.
I like the way you mold those inner circles with that can.
With the hairspray. It all goes pretty simple, to be honest with you. I'm going to show you the other side. You tell me what you think of it. It's just an idea. Some people like it, some people don't. It's part of being artistic. See the other side how it came out like that.
That's competition work there, but
That's exactly what you're doing. You're getting into more competitive hairstyling, more competitive. You might get it's actually happened to me a couple of times. I actually had a client that came in whose daughter was getting married up in Michigan, showed the lady the idea that I had done on her hair. And the idea I did on her hair was many years ago. And when the girl couldn't reproduce it, she was upset. But her idea was, I wanted somebody else to do something else that somebody else did. The young lady who did her hair up in Michigan did a great job. It was very artistic. It was very fine. said she was looking for something that she had had from me. And we all know that's just who you are. What I can do is me, and what you can do is you, and you run with your idea just like I run with my ideas. I like this piece hanging out. It kind of makes me feel like she's a little renegade. So you guys like that idea? What do you think? Woo! Should we do a spider web or should we do a loose chignon? Anybody got a comment? Does she like the little piece hanging out on the side here? You do?
Carla's vote is for spider web.
Spider web? Okay. Spider webbing is pretty easy stuff too, by the way. What usually happens when you're spider webbing hair is it just takes the time to take it all apart, pull it all out. Believe it or not, this does not take that long to take apart. I know which ones I pinned. So my middle one is the one I pinned first. My top one is the one I pinned first. Come out. Where is it? This is this is this. So I'll just start pushing the pins out. Somebody's going to come put that on. So I'm going to comb this all out, and I'll show you an idea called spider webbing, but I'm sure you already know how to do it. You've just never seen how to do it with rubber bands. I do it on a couple of my UFC fighters. It's funny because there's so many different ideas on doing this stuff. Wonder how many times people have reinvented ideas and reinvented ideas. Times are changing as far as this whole Corona thing and everything like that. I hope your salon is open. I hope it's safe. I hope the people around you are happy and safe. There you go. I keep my box that I have all my hair stuff in. I keep it on the top shelf in my salon. And I've actually had it happen to me where I've had young kids come in and they don't realize that they're playing with my career and they start goofing around with stuff. So I try to keep everything as high as I can nowadays. I had 2 mannequins ruined by kids who thought they were doing braids. But it happens. Okay, let's take this apart. Probably didn't think you could do this many updos on one mannequin, huh? Well, you just don't beat them up, like I said. Take your time, be kind. This has probably been the most life-saving thing of my mannequin. For 35 years, like I said, I don't beat her up too bad. I always make sure I take her apart with a shine spray or something that's smoothing. Doesn't matter to me what kind you use. I not particularly any. I'll take that. So I'm going to get my stuff together and I'll show you how to do a nice spider web. And then if we have time, I'll show you how to do a nice pull knot to make a mohawk. The pull knot to make the mohawk is very easy.
Got an hour and 10.
An hour and 10. Well, the spider web doesn't take me that long and the mohawk doesn't take me that long. So I can get it done pretty quick. The mohawk is just an idea of building the hair up. Once you build it up, you just push the braids and they make their own mohawk. That's a great style for people who have really curly hair too. So hard since when they have really curly hair, they always feel like they have to straighten their hair to get certain effects out of it. And that's true. But I think you should look at the true identity of it and see how beautiful and unique you can make that texture look. Because texture is gorgeous. I love curly hair.
Me too.
I love it. Last show that I did in LA, not one model showed up with straight hair. They all had different kinds of curl, not one.
Coming back.
Coming back, you can see.
Perms are coming back.
I know the other day I did a perm. I haven't done a perm in 20 years. And it was a mullet on top of it. And he was a 22-year-old bodybuilder.
Big wave?
Huh?
Big wave?
No, he actually wanted it tight. It wasn't like a fro, but it was very, very curly. Okay, let me get my rubber bands put together here, and I'll show you how to start spider webbing this thing. It's pretty easy stuff. It's just a nice idea if you're doing something for maybe an outdoor wedding or something like that.
No idea what it's spider web.
You basically just dividing hair. Lots and lots of rubber bands. Find my rubber bands. This is crazy. We use this for a punk rock, not a punk rock, steampunk photo shoot. It's nothing more than the top of a chimney. You know? Yeah, that's what it was.
I love perms, but don't do enough.
Yeah, nobody's doing them. They're coming now.
Darlene did a class on perms.
What's that, Jer?
Darlene did a class on perms.
Oh, did she really?
Yeah.
Okay, there we are.
She was using those big foam rollers.
Yeah.
About this long.
Yeah. I think though, if you know how to do perms, it just gives you another advantage. Okay, now this is how you're going to do a spider web. You're going to take your section like this. Okay, it's not too complicated. You're going to take your section like this.
The triangle straight across.
It's always at a triangle. All you're gonna do is take a rubber band. Do 2 twists. Okay, now you got 2 twists, right? So now you're going to take another one over here and you're going to do the exact same thing. You kind of getting where this is going? Just a matter of using rubber bands. It's all it is. Do the exact same thing. These I do in the salon sometimes for kids. They love it.
Are you using actual rubber bands or hair elastics?
These are actually the little, what do they call them? They're for the braces, the little hair elastics, but for the braces, the tiny ones. Yeah, I use everything. I'm not particular on anything. So there you got 2 sections. So now you're going to do this again. Come on this side and do the exact same thing. Try not to make them too big. So what you're going to do is actually when you get these all together, I'll show you how you're gonna start splitting them and making a spider web. You got it. So you're gonna take this section, and you're gonna twist it. I probably am gonna leave it down in the back. I don't think I'm gonna do it all too big. I'll take those, throw those out of the way for now. Take these two sections and do the exact same thing. Make triangles. It gets pretty easy though. In the salon, I try to at least create at least 2 times a week new ideas. And there's some times where, especially like during the pandemic, I was able to do a lot more learning than I was teaching. So I actually had a good time. I was able to learn things and try things. I still went downstairs every day, every night, 1 hour. Did something for hair. I'm always amazed because when I look at like old VCRs of people doing hair, the things they do it's just amazing because it seems like all the ideas are just refurbished ideas. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but that's the way most industries, especially artistic industries, come about and evolve. Sometimes I actually sound like I know what I'm talking about. Sometimes. It's that once a week thing. Now you see how I'm just making these little triangles and squares. Now what you can do is you can actually do the whole head like this prior to doing it. But I like to, after I get past the top, I like to freewheel it. I'll start spraying it. It's an easy idea. It's a good idea, especially if you're doing something. You're going to take your first one, split your first one into 2 pieces. Take your second one, split your second one into 2 pieces. You're going to take your second one and your first one and your second one. And now you're just going to take another rubber band and rubber band them. Looking pretty cool already, and it's only 2 pieces. There's that. Now you're going to go to this one here, and you're going to go to your second one here. So that would be here. You would divide that into 2 and take it to here. When I do these in the shop, it always cracks me up because people always ask me, did she want that? Of course she did.
You sure?
You sure? So you can kind of see where you're already going with all this. So you take the other half to this, take the other half to this. And you're just going to go continue on. These are things people don't even think about. Maybe we should do some coiling today or some chopsticking.
Yeah, I like chopsticks.
Huh?
I like chopsticks.
Yeah, we haven't done chopsticks in a while. You take your second one over here, your first one over here, and you combine them 2. We got another one there. Easiest thing you can do. It's just so much, it looks so cute. When I'm all done with this, I think I might do a quick chopstick, but I also might do a roll. I see what they're starting to do. You're gonna do the exact same thing with these. You're gonna take this second one here, divide it in two. And take this second one here and divide it in two. When I do these at the shop, they go so quick, I crack up. Costs you nothing to do them too. Now, by the way, you can make these webs as big as you want, as short as you want, as small as you want.
Someone said you can use colorful rubber bands too.
Very much. Good idea. Colorful rubber bands would do very artsy. I like that. Divide it in half. One more section. You can do these all the way down. You can do them halfway, especially if somebody was getting married outside. It just has that super like hippie feel to it.
I feel like I've seen this on a bride before with flowers
Yeah.
put in where the rubber bands are.
Oh, great idea. Sometimes they cascade the whole thing and just put a rubber band on it and flip it.
Mm.
Just artistic stuff, that's all. Are you guys liking it out there? You okay? Did I kick up a new idea for you? Or an old idea with a new twist?
All yeses.
All yeses.
Somebody else said they've seen it with pearls as well.
Yes, exactly. Do they want me, should I skip this and go to chopsticks, or do they want me to finish it?
Tasha says finish.
Okay. Finish it is. That's a good thing about these kind of things. It actually makes you feel like you're stepping on some old toes and new toes at the same time. Well, that one goes to there, 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 that one goes to there. Goes to there. Putting them together. And you could use anything you wanted. You don't have to use these bands. You could use, I don't know. I've seen people use the little things that they use for doing garbage bags. I've seen all kinds of stuff. This is just fast. It looks really cool though, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Renaissance fair.
Yeah, exactly. And all it is little rubber bands, probably cost you about 25 cents to do. I'm always leery about these things nowadays because a lot of times in the salon, if you make a mistake in hair color, it costs you money. You make a mistake in an updo, you just comb it out. So you can get to the point where you can do these pretty quick. You can do very well.
We have another photo.
Finish. So I'll do this one and then I'll finish it and call it, go to the chopsticks. It's pretty boring watching somebody just spin rubber bands. Okay, to finish this, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fold it under and tuck it under. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this all. Get myself one rubber band. You can actually put diamonds and stuff on these. You don't have to leave them like that. Put your elastic on the bottom. What you can do is just kind of fold it up into itself. And as you fold it up into itself, what you're going to do is puff it out just a little bit. You're going to fold it out just a little bit. You're going to bite it in the back. There it is. Bite the other one in the back. When I say bite it, what I'm doing is I'm actually catching the back side of the little area that I put in the rubber band. Oh, can't show that one.
Do you ever curl the ends and leave it hang down?
Great idea. Curling the ends and leaving it hang down is a great idea. This is very, 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 very hippie-ish. So if you're gonna curl the ideas, I mean, if you're gonna curl it and let them hang down, you're probably not gonna get that hippie effect out of it. But it doesn't mean that it can't be done. See how that softness just kind of played right into that? I know a lot of times when you see these ideas, you're thinking that's very simple, but it doesn't mean that you can't make money from it. It also doesn't mean that your clients aren't impressed by it. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that came out very beautiful for using a few rubber bands.
Oh, yeah. Nice job.
Pinning it. Okay, what should we go into next?
Someone else suggested crimping the hair with a micro iron.
Oh, great idea. I've seen that. I actually seen somebody that did it with a crimper, and his name was Luis Alvarez, by the way. And that's exactly what he did. And it came out. What he did was he only crimped these sections, and he left this smooth. And every time the crimp sections, he would pin them as he was about right to here. It just started looking like it was so organic and tousled. It was just amazing. That was a great idea, by the way, crimping the sections. Leaving the hair curly is another good idea. This is just a spider web. It's a simple, easy idea. I just thought I'd throw it out there and give it to you guys and see how you like it. You kind of see how it's got that feel to it. Okay, what should we go into next? Should we do something twisty, something more out there?
Out there.
Out there.
I love it when you're out there.
Yeah, man. It's so funny doing these like this. I'm so used to people being in front of me. I don't really see anybody. So I don't know if the audience is reacting, not reacting.
Someone said very nice look, and it looks like you have a yes vote to Christina in the chat too.
To do what?
It looks like somebody said yes for Twisty and out there, and somebody else said we are here.
Can I throw this on the floor, Jeff?
Yes,
You sure?
yes.
I'm not gonna get in trouble.
Well, maybe, but that's okay. You use it, aren't you?
Yep, that's the truth. All right. This is my sharpest pair of shears. I use these for dry cutting. And I have a good friend of mine who sharpens my shears. So he's standing there staring at me, trying to figure out why I'm using this to break these off. I'm doing it because they're the sharpest shears I own.
Someone else said nail clippers work great on taking off rubber bands.
Great idea. I just don't have it. I didn't have one in the truck.
Maybe you need a shirt. It's time, buddy.
A good time. Nail clipper was a good idea. I never thought of that. Ah, shoot. There you go. I'll be done with this in a second. We'll go into something new. How about if we sew up and updo? I haven't done that in a while.
Do what?
Sew up and updo.
I remember the corset you used to do.
Yeah. You can do a corset or a sew up.
You do whatever you want. I've seen the corset.
Okay. Let's sew up and updo. To sew up and updo, what you're going to need is you're just going to need, actually, all you need is string. You don't even need thread.
Someone commented, please do a sew up.
They call it bespoken. I don't know if they know if that's what they call it. The reason why they call it bespoken is because it's making hair like a fabric. Bespoken. Okay, I'm going to section it off, and I'm going to show you how to sew up hair and make it look amazingly beautiful.
Putting her through her paces today.
Well, she's been with me 35 years, so. My other one, she's been with me 42 years, and she's pretty much bald on top, so. When you're in beauty school, you know, they give you that competition model to do your last beauty school updo on. Well, I did my last beauty school updo on her, and it was so beautiful that I kept her forever, and I've been using her for 45 years. Okay, let me see if I got my bespoke stuff. When you bespoke hair, what you have to do is you have to have, there it is. You have to make sure you have the right thread, and you have to know whether it's whether it's somebody who has very, very heavy hair or very light hair or very thin hair. The finishing of a bespoke is so easy though. I taught a model this one time about 20 years ago. And for about 2 years, all she did was put these things on the internet saying that, you know, how she had done it. So here's.
Can I see the package on that?
How much?
Package that it came in?
Oh, it's just it's actually just a sewing package. Darning needles, they call them. Sorry.
My problem is that it.
Yeah, it's a darning needle. Darning. They give you one of those, and that's usually what I keep them in.
Yeah.
Okay, what you're gonna do is you can see how big this needle is. There you go. So you're gonna take whatever kind of thread you want. And I just happen to maybe, yes, I do. I just happen to have a thread that matches almost identical to her color hair, almost identical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thread. I'm going to double my thread up. I'm going to double my thread up, and I'm going to actually make my own patterns by hairspray in it and sewing it. So you're going to start to see something that is really organic. And usually what I do when I do these is I'll do 2 or 3 of them. I don't do one at a time anymore. And it's not that I can't, I'm just too old and grumpy.
Looks like you got about 12 feet there.
Yeah. So bespoking came from an old English idea of tailoring. And what they call a tailor is a bespoke. So I'm going to take this, shred it on here, then I'm going to sew it. I'm going to knot it one more time. Try not to step on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tread it once, then tread it through again, and now I'm going to tread it through halfway. So my needle is going to be about right there. I'm going to bend the ends of the hair. I'm going to section it off, and then I'm going to bend the ends of the hair so they almost look finished. And then I'm going to start sewing it. I'm going to section off the top too. So let's section off the top.
So is that like 4 strands there?
It's doubled, yeah. So it's doubled and then doubled again, yeah. So that's 4 strands. So once you get your sections however you want them, sometimes I'll do them in 2 sections, sometimes I'll do them in 4, sometimes in 6, depending on what I want to see. I'm going to bend the hair under. Sometimes I do these and I actually do put the flowers in them. Okay. Now that's my top section. Now I'm going to take this section here and I'm going to bend it under with an iron. I'm going to bend this under with an iron. Watch. Are you ready? I'm going to take this little section here like this, and I'm going to curl it with an iron. Bend it under. Very quiet. There you go. Bend those ends under. And now that little bit of bend, when it comes up here, is going to be very organic looking. So you're going to start bending all your ends. You can curl them, do this too, by the way. My daughter actually does a beautiful updo on stage where she curls the whole head of hair and then does this. It just takes a long time to curl the whole head of hair. So we're going to bend them all under, make sure they're nice and crispy. And then we're going to start our weaving and tightening and pulling. Did you guys like all those updos that you saw? Pretty sophisticated stuff.
I like it.
Very wedding. funny too, because sometimes I'll see it up doing a movie and like somebody said something about the Julia Roberts. That was exactly my inspiration when I saw that.
Lots of yeses to your question. Everyone's enjoying these.
Ah, okay. Bend that under like that. Well, this is going to make hair very, very organic again. So you're going to be messing hair that's very neat, but you're going to make it move. Okay. So that's my first one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my section right here. Here's my needle. I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to go right against her scalp, pull that needle through, catch this, open it up, and just pull it through.
Someone asked what type of spray do you like to use to hold beach waves?
I actually like working spray by Aquash. I thought I had two of them. I missed one. So what you're going to do is you're going to be your first section. That's going to be your anchor. So you're just going to take your needle. You're going to grab a section of hair, pick it up, take your needle, wrap your needle around it, come over here. You're going to pick up another section of hair, bring it over to this section. And now all you're going to do is start pulling these two. Can you kind of see what you're starting to do? Take your next section of hair, feed it through. Now you're going to take this and start feeding it through again. You're going to just pull that into that center. And pull that into that center. Whoop, where'd it go?
Needle in a haystack.
Needle in a haystack. Well, what you're going to start doing is you're going to actually just start pulling that hair apart with your own hands. Now you're going to come around here and grab another little piece of it. Just grab a little something. So it'll pull it up. Maybe twist it a little bit. See what you're starting to do? Starting to make a very artistic and creative bun. Loop it underneath. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Pull it up in there. Now I'm going to finish this one off and I'm going to make another one. What I'm going to finish it off is I'm going to tie it to there. Bring it through to here. Do it again. Sometimes I even leave the needle in there, but you don't have to. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start to do this. And as you can tell, I have all this to work with. So what I normally do is because it's looking sort of organic, I'd start putting it together however I want. I'm going to get myself another piece of thread. Get myself another piece of thread. I usually have another pre-cut. I might curl a little bit of that and twist a little of that. Gonna rain today?
I don't know about today, but it's supposed to rain all week.
Is it really?
Someone has a question. How do you deal with squirmy clients?
They get squirmy hair. I have a young kid. I cut his hair, and I always laugh because he tells me things that just shouldn't come out of a young kid's mouth. Tells me he wants my best artistic work. I crack up. He's 6 years old.
Oh.
Charlie. Yeah, it's funny too. I have two boys named Charlie, and they're both very eccentric. Okay, let's see if we can get this rolling again. Okay, just gonna feed this through. This is actually one of those hairstyles that you can do for a prom, and they actually like it, but it's just so easy to take down, and it's got that messy effect. Every time I do them for prom, they always tell me, "Oh, mine was the only hair that didn't come down." I'm sure it wasn't, but these really hold good too, by the way.
So this would be in the dance category?
Oh, big time. Big time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to twist this around. And once I start twisting this, I'm going to start smoothing it out, and then I'm going to tie it, and then I'll pull it apart again. Do the exact same thing. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to take a piece of that, use that as my base, go right through there. You got to make sure you go through two of them. Right? Last time that's what happened. I didn't go through two of them. I went through one. Pull it tight. Pull it tight like that. Leave it hang. Take this, start twisting it just a little bit. Now you're going to take your B-spoke, and you're going to go right through the middle of it, just like this. Go right around it. Take this one and twist it. Go right through it. Go right around it. Go through the base. Now that is one pretty organic looking twist. Loop that. Jerry, you quiet. You okay over there?
I can figure it out. I don't know what you're gonna do next.
Oh, I'm gonna braid the top there and twist it all around and call it a day.
Oh, well. Never seen this before.
Really? Pretty easy stuff, actually.
Do a lot of clients ask for sew-ups or is it something?
Actually, you know something? I don't know if you remember in the beginning, I told you I taught a model to do this one time about 20 years ago.
Mhm.
And when the internet started coming out, she was putting it every day. She was doing a different type
Mm.
because you can do all kinds. This is just one. This is just one idea, but you can do so many different ideas with this. You can do the sides back. You can tie up pieces. You don't really need any of the other stuff that we use. Now that's pretty pulled apart.
Mhm.
How's it looking?
Barbara says sewing is great because it doesn't give a client a headache from choosing bobby pins.
Yeah. It goes so fast too. It takes away so many ideas as far as like doing that.
Somebody asked barbecue at Jerry's after this.
Amen. I'm thinking good.
Absolutely.
Jerry is always the hostess with the mostest.
Yeah, it's a BYO meat.
Oh my God, I wouldn't tell hairdressers that to save my soul. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm actually creating a 2-strand braid that when I'm done, I'm going to just push it up and it's going to go right inside there. Okay, take it from this side.
You wash her hair every time you do one of these shows?
I do not wash her hair because the texture that she gives me is just about perfect for her. When they tell you to come to the salon with your hair dirty, this is actually the ultimate idea of dirty hair.
Huh.
Yeah. So the spray that I'm doing right now is actually what makes this updo work. If you didn't spray it, it would be okay. It just wouldn't have the quality it's gonna have. And this is another updo where if it's a little off on one side, it actually makes it work better.
Elizabeth said, I love this Zoom format. I can avoid the long drive.
Did you forget about the barbecue already?
That's right.
Oh, no, it's a little.
Okay. Caught on my fingernail. What I did was I went in from a 2-strand braid to now a fishtail. I'm going to take my fishtail, just make it halfway down this. I'm going to put a rubber band on it, push this forward, and then wrap it around. We're getting pretty simple here. This is pretty.
Someone else agreed with loving the Zoom format and being able to miss out on a long drive. Someone else said me too, up in Wakanda. And someone else said love the different hairstyles.
Oh, beautiful. Driving is awesome. No, seriously, it's so good not to drive nowadays.
Mhm.
Yes, 340.
So I went into that. Now I got into this. So you got the bespoke on the bottom. You got a 2-strand braid on top. And now you got a fishtail on the bottom. So as you flip through this, I'm not going to put a heavy duty rubber band on this because I actually want it to spread apart. I'm going to put a bobby pin to hold the base though. So you get a bobby pin that'll hold the base. You'll get another. You'll start pulling this apart so it'll match the bottom of this. And you're just constantly creating movement in this. These bespoke ideas they work fantastic.
We got another person lucky or happy that they didn't have to drive from Sycamore. Another person from Highland, Indiana. Huntley.
Huntley,
Mhm.
you're out there now. So here we have it. We went from a 2-strand braid into a fishtail braid. Spread this apart. Open the bobby pin. At the bottom. In the back there. When you skewer a bobby pin, it's different than if you put a bobby pin through it. When you skewer it, you keep it closed. and you go up, in, fish around a little bit, and then push. And that locks it to the scalp. That's why they call it skewering. I have no idea what this looks like because I've been standing on top of it. I like a little bit more over here. That's her top. Little movement going back into a 2-strand braid. That is bespoke hair. Messy, very random. So there you go. There's your bespoke. Should we do a chopstick? Do you want to do a coil? Give me some suggestions.
I forget what a coil is, Joe.
This hair type is very artistic.
It's very artistic. Should we do
Coil, 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 chopstick.
coil, coil, coil? I'll do it. I'll do a coil. What kind of coil? There's 15 different kinds. Pick one.
I don't know where to start.
Want to see an updo with a coil, or you just want to see a coil? Coiling hair is very easy. It's just so artistic.
What can you do in 20 minutes?
All of it.
You're good.
Not that complicated.
You're right.
Someone else said, I love the sewing technique, although I definitely would need to see more of this and get lots of practice.
Yeah. Sewing is kind of like, imagine if you had a pin and you could pull it, a bobby pin, and you could constantly pull it. It's the same idea. It just takes away from pinning it, looking at it, pinning it, looking at it, pinning it, looking at it, pinning it, looking at it. With the bespoke, you have to have your plan, know where you want it. You want it tasseled, you want it where you want it, how you want it to roll. If you want it up on one side, down on another. The good thing about the bespoke is you do know where it starts. So once you cut that, it's not like the rubber bands where you're constantly trying to pull it apart. I'm going to do one coil or two. Let me think real quick. I haven't done a big coil in a long time. Maybe I'll do a big coil. Coiling is one of those techniques that I saw in that Braveheart movie. They used it a lot. I was actually kind of shocked on how many times they actually had coil. Now look at this. You could just take this right now, take these few pieces out, tuck them under like this, and you have a beautiful bun, just like that. Just cut that off, take your scissor, cut that off, and you have a beautiful bun. It's just that messy, organic look. And that's all that is that leftover from the bespoke. You're just gonna tuck it all up underneath there and start to get that roll look. Okay, we're gonna do a coil. And that's about it.
Thank you for sharing. Cute.
Trying not to beat her up too bad today. She's been through a lot.
Yeah.
I bought this mannequin. I bought it from Pivot Point so many years ago. I can't even believe. I know back then I didn't have the money to put in the hair, and I was working for a company. They wanted to see my work on a constant basis, and I just didn't have the mannequins. And I always felt there was so many people that had better mannequins than I did. And I actually one day just threw caution to the wind and called them up. Back then, you actually put checks in the mail. You didn't have to Venmo or anything.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that. Matter of fact, I can't tell you how much I love that. That's how much I love that. Okay, we're gonna do a coil this time. Let me get her all straightened out and ready to go. I'm gonna go through two kinds of coils with you, and then I'm gonna do a coiled up. They're pretty. I always say things are very simple. They're very simple because I practice. I practice a lot of this stuff. I told you when the pandemic was on, I went downstairs for at least 1 hour every night and did a little practicing. Sometimes I did a lot of practicing. Sometimes I hit a new idea. Sometimes I just sat down there and stared at the mannequin until I was sleeping. But it was one of those things I knew if I stopped, I would lose it. And you know, like that bespoke idea. When you learn things like that, you now own them. And if you don't practice them, you lose them. 30% of what you learn today, you will, if you do not use it within the next 5 days, you will, 30% of what you learn today, 70% of what you learn today, you don't use it in the next 5 days, you will forget about it. And 30%, if you don't use it within a month, you will forget about it. So education is important.
Someone said I attended Pivot Point in Rogers Park in 1976.
That was almost the time I bought this mannequin. God bless you.
And still at it.
And still at it. God bless you.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you're going to coil hair, a coil is anytime you wrap hair around here. There's two fingers that you use for a coil that most people in their whole life don't even use for coiling, is these two. You're not going to use your index finger. You're going to use your two middle fingers. Are they your two middle fingers? But anyway, these two fingers. And what you're going to do is you're going to take two strands of hair, and two strands of hair are going to wrap around one strand of hair. This is a coil. I'm going to do it really on a big basis in the beginning. I'm going to take it like this. Now think about this. Think about how many ideas you can do just from this one idea, because there are so many ideas on coiling. You're going to take one strand of hair. You're going to hold it like this. You're going to take these two fingers and grab it. And you're going to take these two fingers and grab it. These two fingers and grab it. And as you're sliding it, you're coiling this hair around this hair. You see what you're creating? That is a coil. It's not a rope braid, it's a coil. That's why I use these two fingers. If you start rope braiding it, it's not a coil. Now you can take that coil and you can create anything you want, because as you move this coil, I'll show you how to anchor them. The way you anchor a coil, say you wanted it to go across her head and come over to here. Sorry. Say you wanted it to come across her head and go over to here. All you would have to do is pick where you want that hair to be and go to the scalp and grab another piece of hair. And that will anchor that. So you can take that like that, hold this like this. If you go under it, it'll lock the coil. If you go over it, it'll make a loop. So you have to go under to lock it. Now that here, believe it or not, is locked. So if I want to move it to another part of the head, all I have to do is find my next section that I want to lock it to. Here. Can you see how that starts bending like that? So if I want to lock it over here, if I want to lock it over here, anywhere I want to lock it, I can lock this thing. I just have to know that I have to go to the base of the head. You want me to show it to you one more time or you got it?
Pretty simple.
Can you show a rope braid?
Yeah, I'll show a rope braid when I'm done. Got it, got it.
Yeah.
See, one more time. Can I do it for that person one more time?
Sure.
Okay. What you're gonna do is you're gonna just go to the scalp. Grab it right here. Now that hair right there is gonna be your anchor for this coil. So when you grab this coil like this, that's gonna anchor to that scalp. You can't go over the top. You have to go underneath. You're going underneath, it pulls it into the scalp. If you went under on the top, does that make sense to you now? So see, when you're going to move it like this, you see how that coil holds? That coil is now anchored to that scalp. See how it's anchoring? Does that make sense to you?
Yep.
Got it, got it, got it. Thanks. Got it, got it, got it, got it. Okay, now I'm going to do an updo with the coil. I don't know if you call it an updo. It's another one of those hippie things.
The hippies are making a comeback.
The hippies are making a comeback, definitely these days.
We got new laws.
Yeah, man. It's funny because I saw that movie Braveheart and they used every idea of coiling that I know. Every idea I know of coiling. I know 15 ideas. There was a couple things in there. I was like, I don't know if that's coiling. I don't know what it is. And then eventually I would see it and I would go, oh, I didn't think of using it like that. Because what they did on one thing, they just coiled the whole head of hair and then made it a bun. And I was like, well, I never done that before. So.
Have you ever seen the series Vikings on the
Oh, yeah, loved it.
all their braids?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I know most people, when they watch movies, they look at action. I look at the hair.
Yeah.
I see what the makeup is. I'm trying to figure out who did it, why it was done.
When I'm driving down the street, all I see is hair salons.
That's right.
That's all I see. It's just where you're at, huh?
That's right. Now, if you just wanted to take this and let this dry like this makes a real cool curl too, by the way.
Yeah.
See, you can take that one section that you took off here and just let that curl run. This doesn't take very long, so coiling once you got it down. Somebody said that they wanted to see a rope braid real quick. I can literally show you a rope braid in 1 second. So before I start my coiling updo, I'll show you a rope braid. Now rope braiding is really coming back, especially with the younger kids.
Anna said, I see hair everywhere.
Yeah. You go, Anna. Once you got it in your veins, you can't get it out. All right, quick rope braid. There's that ping pong ball inside my head going around again. What kind of rope braid do I want to show you? I'm going to show you a simple rope braid. How's that? A rope braid is anytime you have two strands of hair, and what you're going to do is whatever direction you decide to twist them, that's the direction that you flip them. So the rope braid, I would twist to the right, cross to the left, twist to the right, cross to the left, twist to the right. I'm pinching this the whole time. And that's why you create a rope.
Somebody said my grandkids are wearing bell bottoms.
Yeah. I saw a girl at a shoot and she had these really cool bell bottoms on. They were high waisted. And I said, wow, them are really cool bell bottoms. And she looked at me and she said, I thought they were called flares.
Yeah, same stuff, different day.
I was like, what? She said, I thought they were called flares. So anyway, that's a rope braid. You see the difference? Coiling is when that section just wraps around it. Rope braiding is twisting and going the opposite. It's pretty simple stuff. Any questions?
Could you connect that or anchor it like you did the other one?
What do you mean?
You wrapped it around the head and anchored it at a different spot.
Yeah. You can add to rope
Same
braids.
stuff.
Yeah, rope braiding, you can French braid rope braiding. So, you okay with the rope braiding, or does it look too complicated?
Nice, beautiful.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick updo with coils, and this is going to kind of rock your world because it's that easy, especially on long hair.
My 14-year-old niece is wearing 70s styled feathered wings on the side like Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks.
Mhm. Somebody else
Asked, remember making bell bottoms bigger?
Yeah.
Big.
Yeah, you put the cut in them and make the V.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that. I wasn't young. I wasn't around then.
Yeah.
I heard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your brother told.
All right. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take two sections of hair from here to here, and I'm going to take them out, and then I'm going to take the back, and I'm going to put that into a ponytail. So the way I'm going to do that is this. I'm going to take a section like this, go to her ear, and section it out. Now I'm going to make it look thicker. She's a little thin. Okay, go behind her ear. I'm going to section it out. I'm going to pin this here, and then I'm going to come over to this side. Take another section of hair, go all the way to behind her ear, and section it out. Here we go. Now I'm going to take this section right here, clip it out. Now these are going to be my coils. Sometimes I'll take the coils from the start. Sometimes I'll take them from the right. Sometimes I'll take them from the left. Today I feel like starting them from the right. So I'm going to put my ponytail in. Let me get my bobby pins with my rubber band. Remember, I always do my ponytails with my rubber band. Take this out. Okay. I'm not showing a ballerina bun in a long time, so on this one, I am going to do a ballerina bun too. Normally, I just leave the coils wrap around, but today I feel like I'm going to do a ballerina bun to finish it off. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to these sections here, and I'm going to divide them. Oh, what happened here? Missed that section. Shoot. Missed the section of hair, sorry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this hair and I'm going to make my ponytail. I missed a section last time, that's why I took it apart. Put my thumb in there, put my bobby pin in there, hold it with my thumb, wrap it around, grab it on the other side, and pin it.
Is
There.
the ballerina bun with a sock? Someone is asking.
No, but I have seen them done with a sock. I've seen them done with Hair nets, yeah, that's a good question. Ballerina bun is basically this, and then you're gonna fold it up and roll it into itself and just spread it out. It's very simple, but we're doing coil right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my sections here and I'm gonna divide them into 3 sections. So I'm gonna take a section here. I'm going to use little clippies and clip them out of the way so I'm not stepping on them. Two and 3 more. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sections. So this will be my first section on this side. I'll pin this like this. Move it out of the way. This will be my second section on this side. Pin this. Move it out of the way. Now I divided that side into 3 sections. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now this side here, I'm going to do the exact same thing, but because I want my coil to start at a different spot. I want my coil to start at a different spot. It's going to be 3 bigger sections. So I'm going to take this off here. That's 1. That's going to be my first coil right there. And this will be my second coil. And then this will be my third coil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start coiling and I'm going to show you how this goes. This section here is going to go all the way to here. And then this section here is going to come back to here. And then this section here is going to come back to here. And then this section here is going to be coming back to here. This section is going to go around it. Sounds complicated, doesn't it? It's not. I'm going to take this, comb it out, comb it back. Oh, that hurt. Divide it in 2. And I'm going to start my coil. Now, when you're coiling like this, sometimes I actually get cramps in these 2 fingers. I'm not used to, people aren't used to using them. So that coil right there is going to match up with my second coil over there, which is actually my first coil over there. I'm sorry, not my second coil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and bring this all the way over to here, and this will be my second coil, which is actually my first coil on that side. So what happens is this. Remember I told you before, when you coil hair, if you want to lock it down, you have to bring it from underneath. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this hair like this, and you're going to wrap it underneath, and there's your coil. So that's going to anchor it right there. Come on, babe. Stay up. That's your coil right there. So now you've got your coil going this way. So your second coil on your other side is going to be your connection on that side. Does that make sense to you? So you're going to take this coil like this, and you're going to pull it over to here. You're going to take your second coil from over on this side, and where do you go? Underneath. If you don't go underneath, it won't be a coil. It'll just be a flip. So you're gonna come underneath like this and then wrap it around and start coiling. Now this is going to match up with your second coil on the other side, which is this. So now this coil goes underneath like this and wraps around like this. See how organic looking this gets? Now that is going to meet this one. Now this one is going to start wrapping for this one.
Jerry, someone said apologies. I have a client waiting for me. Is this class longer?
It is, but you've got your 4 hours. Don't worry about it.
And then this is going to go like this. And
We're
tie,
finished after this one.
and tie to this. And this is going to wrap around this.
Elizabeth says, I love this.
Somebody else said, wow.
And that's what you have created by coiling.
I never did this. This is so cool. I love this. Thank you.
Yeah, these things it's pretty easy stuff. I can make a happy face out of it if I want. It's just that once you got it down and you learn it, you kind of own it. And once you own it, you do what you want with it. All it takes to hold this whole thing is one bobby pin.
Marguerite says, very cool. Elizabeth says, you are amazing. Thank you.
Now this is where you can create whatever you want. I used to do a thing called a ballerina bun, where I would take the hair and bend it. See if I can still do it. To do a ballerina bun, what you would do is just kind of like grab that hair. Now what you're going to do is you're going to make that hair spread out. You're going to have to work it with a little bit of hairspray. That's what you really got to do. She's got quite a bit of long hair, so it's pretty easy to do it. If they have short hair, it's as long as it's not fine hair, you can get it done.
Samantha says, I do love this. 34 years, I've never seen this before. Thank you.
Tell her Jerry will always surprise you. We don't know why, he just got it.
I know good people.
You know a guy. Missed it. Shoot. Okay. There you go. Now, as you do this, all you have to do is spread this out. There you go. Created a ballerina bun. By the way, never comb these down. The minute you comb them down, they evaporate. I've seen people do them on stage because you're so used to just combing. It has to be combed up. There's a ballerina bun. We've got about 10 minutes. Any questions, any ideas,
We're good.
We're good.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good, positive day.
And Joe, thank you. This is why I don't miss Jerry's classes. Can't wait till you have another class. Thank you for amazing ideas. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is going to be our last class until August, probably the middle of August, because we know you want to go out and swim and play and stuff like that. So have a great summer and we'll see you in August. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. My dog.
Had to put Ace in there. There, sounds like everyone loved it.
Oh, everybody loves you.
I'm with you, brother.